Welcome to qnawire.
We're going to compute the probability of x using Table B. For our first example, we see that n equals 15, p equals 0.80, and x equals 12. In the table, the n is always your first column. The probability is on the top row. So you find that column, then you look for that probability on the top row. Once you find which column to use, and then the top row, which probability to use, you can find the probability of x by looking at the second column. So you're matching up the columns and the rows. So we look for 15 in the first column. We find the probability of 0.80 and we go down to 12 and we get 0.0250. The probability that x equals 12 is 0.250. For our next example, n equals 17. The probability is 0.05 and x equals 0. When you look at your chart, the first column for n equals 17, then find the probability 0.05 and look the first row there. You will see x equals 0, and that answer is 0.0418. For our next example, we have n equals 20, p equals 0.50, and x equals 10. You look at your chart for where n equals 20, then you go to a probability of 0.50, and you go down to x equals 10, and you see that the table tells us the probability is 0.176. For our last example, we have n equals 16, p equals 0.20, and x equals 3. On Table B, you go down to 16. You look for a probability of 0.20 in the top row, and then you go down to 3. So you match the 16 and 3 under probability of 0.20, and you get 0.246. So the probability for x equals 3 for this binomial distribution would be 0.246, or 24.6%.